Hello and welcome back. We're just not going to talk about that.
Little technical
Little
difficulties.
technical difficulties. Welcome back to the Monday hour of me and James annoying everyone upstairs.
I love doing that.
Yeah, and to our 0 viewers on YouTube
So far.
So far,
Maybe that one will come back.
maybe that one will come back. You know, maybe we're gonna get so many views on this. I think we just have to change the title to um dream face reveal discussion, and I
You're
think
right.
I think we'll get everyone here.
I do have things to discuss about that.
So many things to discuss. Many thoughts.
Should I say them?
I don't know, are they controversial?
I don't think so.
Opinions on the face reveal?
3 out of 10.
Honestly, I was kind of getting Crimson Chin vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw something on Twitter that was like me walking out of Best Buy with like the new iPhone in my mouth.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe I was getting. So today on the show of Olivia and James annoy everyone, because it is October, we have now ventured out to a new subreddit of r/no sleep, and we're going to read horror stories because it's that time of the month.
Exact month.
Yeah, that time of the month.
Okay.
All of the month.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No other references are being implied.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Wow, we're
So
already annoying already.
yeah,
It's only 2 minutes in.
I hope everyone upstairs just leaves.
I hope we're talking to an empty cafeteria right
I
now.
hope all the workers leave. They're just like so fed up that they just walk out.
You, one of them is always so fed up, and I'm not gonna say names, but I feel like she just left.
All of them hate us, that's for sure. So I think we'll jump right into it. James, do you have the one that I was gonna read, or do you want me to send it to you?
No, send it.
Okay.
I found mine because, all of these are 10-page papers, and this one's not that long.
I'll airdrop it to you again, like I
Okay.
did last time.
This is great. Okay, I have it.
Yeah, just like how I airdropped the budget apartment to you.
My budget apartment.
For anyone that wasn't here last week, I don't know why you weren't, but for anyone that wasn't here last week, we were reading posts on Am I the Bad Person? And one of them was like, Am I the bad person for telling my boyfriend he can't date younger and then insult my budget apartment? It had a very interesting title. Okay. So the first one I will be reading is My missing husband came home, but I just know it isn't him. First initial thoughts.
I want to know why it's not him. And I also want to know, how did he go missing?
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to know if this happened in a budget apartment.
Honestly, I think it's a safe assumption to say it did.
Oh, I see the word suburbia. Never mind.
Never mind, no budget apartments. It's budget houses. All right. My husband went missing 6 months ago. Just went out to work one day and never came home. It was a horrible shock to the whole neighborhood because things like that just didn't happen in our little slice of white picket fence suburbia. Jesus.
So it's not budget.
It's not budget at all.
It's
The
bougie.
that's very bougie. You got the white picket fences around the whole house. You're living lavish. The police launched an investigation and the neighborhood watch sent out search parties, but no one was ever found. But no one ever found any evidence to indicate what had happened to him. Our families were devastated. Recently, the missing posters have been taken down or papered over. The updates from the police became less frequent and dwindled away. I accepted that, as hard as it was to admit, my Rick wasn't coming back. Jeez, his name was Rick.
Oh no.
Like the way she phrased that, it's like, my Rick isn't coming back.
I'm sorry to anyone named Rick that might be listening.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
probably
so
no one
sorry.
listening. We're probably talking to no one right now.
We're literally, oh my god, we have one viewer on YouTube.
I wonder if it's the same one.
It probably is. Shout out to our one number one fan. We're counting on you each time.
What if it's like like an Iona staff just watching to make sure it's like good.
Honestly, it probably
Like it's probably not
is.
even an actual person.
Doesn't matter. Still our number one fan.
You're right.
Tune in every time. We're gonna get t-shirts made for just you. Back to the story. Until he did. A week ago, I was in the back garden watering my petunias.
Why so
Sorry.
specific?
Yeah, why specifically the petunias? When I heard the garden gate creak open, I jerked my head in that direction, and there he was, exactly the same as he was the day he disappeared. Same windswept blonde hair and bright blue eyes, same curl to his pink lips. I was in shock. Our families had mourned for him, and yet there he was, standing in our garden like he had just popped out for milk or something. When I had asked where he had been, he said he didn't know. He couldn't remember anything about the last 6 months. All our family and friends are beside themselves with joy. They almost can't believe it, but that's just the thing. I don't believe it. Look, I understand how crazy this all sounds. I do. Our families would never believe me, and I can't go to the police unless I want to end up in a straitjacket. But I know that the man sleeping next to me isn't my husband. I don't know what to do. I know I should be happy, but I'm not. I'm terrified. I don't know much about anything supernatural or paranormal. I don't even like watching horror movies, but something about this whole situation makes my skin crawl. Just let me explain why I'm so sure. Once I've done that, hopefully you will believe me and you will be able to tell me what to do. The morning after Rick, in quotations, came home, I made him a cup of tea. When I handed it to him, he gave me the brightest smile. He took a sugar cube from the dish on the table and dropped it into the cup. Our house was in chaos with his return. I was still in shock, so I didn't think much of it at the time, but it's been replaying in my mind ever since I know it doesn't sound very significant, but my husband never put sugar in his tea. He was always adamant that it ruined the taste, and he'd get so frustrated if I ever put sugar in his cup by accident. And yet, this man had sugar. Then it was the golf. A few days ago, when he was visiting his mom, I recorded a golf tournament that was showing on the TV. It was one of Rick's favorite golfers that was competing, and he never missed it. Once he even skipped out on an anniversary dinner just to watch a championship. Only when he came home from his parents and I told him what I'd done, he just seemed unbothered. Like he said thanks and everything, and then he asked if I wanted to go get dinner. He didn't even watch it. And that was just so out of character for him. Then one night, I woke up around 2 a.m. to see Rick's face inches from mine, just looking at me with these blank eyes. And I kind of gave this nervous laugh and asked, Baby, what are you doing? That's so awkward to
Oh
read.
my god.
Never make me read that again. And he didn't answer. For like a solid 30 seconds, he just stared, almost like he was looking right through me. Then he suddenly smiled and said, Sorry, honey, sometimes I just can't believe this is real. Then he just rolled over and went to sleep. I didn't get much sleep after that. Yesterday, about a week after he came home, the neighborhood threw a street party to celebrate his return. Everyone from our street and the streets on either side turned up to see him and tell him how happy they are that he's all right. When he wasn't standing with his arm around my waist, he was milling around chatting amicably to each and every one of our neighbors, even the little kids. That's concerning. Jackson, our next door neighbor, Sally. That's a confusing sentence, sorry. Jackson, our next door neighbor, Sally's toddler, wanted to play peekaboo, and Rick happily played along with a smile on his face. Now, my husband never did that. Rick always said he didn't like kids. That's why we never had any. And so he never wanted to play with any of the neighborhood children, especially not Jackson. Rick all but avoided him before he disappeared. I had started to suspect it was so I wouldn't see them together and notice the subtle but unmistakable similarities. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh no. Did I interpret that correctly?
Wait. What?
I don't know if that's trying to imply that that's his kid.
I need to read this again.
Yeah,
Hold
I
on.
need to reread that. Wait. Especially not Jackson. Rick all but avoided him. Before he disappeared, I had started to suspect it was so I couldn't see them together and noticed the subtle but unmistakable similarities.
The
Sounds like it's his kid.
the toddler?
Yeah.
What? What does that even mean?
I don't even. We're gonna move on.
Yeah, we're gonna ignore that.
The final nail in the coffin, proverbially speaking, was Sally. Just this morning, she came knocking on our door. Her excuse was the tray of brownies she carried, but I think she wanted to push her way into our morning so that she could see for herself what the situation was. After she left, I calls her a nosy busybody. Rick laughed, kissed my head, and agreed with me. That was when I really knew for sure that it couldn't be him. Rick always used to get so mad whenever I insulted Sally. Like, I didn't have any right to hate her, even though she'd been sleeping with my husband for years. But today, there was none of that. He didn't even try to defend her. So I was right about my inference from before.
I'm so confused.
Um, Rick is a cheater, and he was cheating. He was pulling a Ned from the Try Guys and having a consensual workplace relationship with Sally from next door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do men do that?
Why do men act like that?
Why do men?
Wow. Um, I know you must be thinking if he was in an accident or something, he might have had some kind of traumatic brain injury that caused him to forget some things about his life, maybe even change his personality. And that's a valid, responsible explanation. I have no doubt that's what the police would tell me if I reported all this. But you know why I'm dead certain this man is my husband? He doesn't have a scar. If he really was Rick, he'd have a scar on the side of his forehead, shaped like the golf club I hit him with.
What?
Oh, but there's nothing, not a mark. Honestly, I'm this close to going out tonight and digging up my petunias just to make sure he's still under there. I don't know
What?
I don't know what I'm sharing a bed with, but I know it's not my husband, so what the hell am I going to do? All right, that's the end of that story.
Wait, what?
Um,
I didn't comprehend any of that.
Me neither.
I think my brain like turned off or something, or it just didn't make sense.
Yeah,
Maybe both.
maybe both. Um, so thoughts.
Um, why'd she hit him with a golf club? And
May-
why is he under the petunias?
yeah, I thought they hadn't found him. So why is she checking to see if he's under the petunias?
What does that even mean? Why would he be under the petunias?
Yeah, it's not like she buried him.
I was about to say, like, what is that implying? I think we're missing some key details.
I think we are.
There is a part two, however.
There is a part 2, but I don't.
Let's see how long it is.
How long is the part 2?
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh
oh, this
no.
is long.
Oh
Um,
no.
the part 2 will never be revealed. Come back next week if you want to know. We won't read it, but come back next week. Um, I don't know how to feel about that one.
I just don't understand what happened in it.
Yeah,
I'm trying to like have an opinion, but I can't because that didn't make sense.
yeah, there was something off about it. Like, all of a sudden, it just got into the fact that Rick was cheating on his wife with Sally.
But why would that make him disappear for 6 months?
Right.
Like that doesn't mean he has to disappear. Like you can cheat and then be home for dinner.
Right.
Not from experience. Like
Not from
I would
experience.
not know that
We
from
we
experience.
don't know any of this from experience.
But like I'm just saying, like
If if I was Ned from the Try Guys,
yeah.
I think I would just cheat and then go say Try Guys try high heels and then go on to my show.
Yeah. Like you can just pull a fast one, you know?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to disappear. So, um
Yeah. And if we are to believe that this is not the same man, so you mean to tell me that there is a man sleeping in your bed that looks identical to your husband, except he doesn't have a scar and he acts different. That's also kind of mildly concerning that he looks identical to your husband.
It's giving fake.
It's giving not real. Debunked.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right,
Or is it time
James,
for
it
mine?
is time for yours. You gotta airdrop me yours.
Yeah.
Why does my chair squeak so much? I like
Oh my
having
god,
you
my friend
here.
is outside the thing taking pictures of me.
We have fans.
Okay. Why am I getting a FaceTime? Do not disturb,
Who's the FaceTime from?
Claire. Okay. Do not disturb is on. Okay. So the title of this one is I taught my dog to talk through buttons and now I wish I hadn't. So, right away,
Love that.
what does that mean? How do you
I think it's like you ever seen those TikToks where the dogs like step on the buttons and they go food, hungry. I
Oh,
think it's that thing. But
oh,
maybe the buttons are like I want you dead.
oh. Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm getting from this. Like wholesome TikTok gone wrong.
It's like food, water, walk, death.
Yeah. That's like the four buttons.
Okay, let me start. I taught my dog to talk, not with her voice, but with her paws. I own a 3-year-old. I don't know how to pronounce that. I've never heard that
um
before.
hold up. Wait, I have a wait. I'm gonna go to Google Translate and have it speak it.
So I apologize for not knowing how to pronounce this dog breed. Um, I might just skip over it. We're
Yeah.
just gonna say Pomeranian. I own a 3-year-old Pomeranian called Gidget. They are a remarkably intelligent breed, despite their yappy image. I taught her from a young age to do tricks and obey commands, and she was a bright and eager student. I always felt like she had a lot to say, so when I saw videos on TikTok and Instagram of dogs who use program buttons to indicate their needs, I thought I might try it with Gidget. I bought a pack, recorded my voice on the buttons. I kept it simple at first. I gave her buttons to make requests and ask for things outside, food, water, treat, play. After she had mastered those, I added more. I gave her options about where she wanted to go, what things she wanted to eat. She soon learned to pair the buttons up outside, park, food, chicken. It.
So are there like multiple food options?
Why does why does that remind me of myself? Like food, chicken.
Yeah, that's me when I think what do I want for dinner? Food, chicken. And then I hit buttons.
It was amazing to hear her preferences, to know why she whined or barked. As she grew more confident, I added more buttons. These were more philosophical and used concepts rather than nouns and verbs. I what? How? Sorry. I wasn't sure Gidget would be able to understand them, but she picked them up so quickly I wish I had introduced them sooner.
That completely goes against the title, by the way.
Yeah.
I wished I introduced them sooner. Cut back to the title. I wished I never introduced them.
Yeah, this is looking like one of those. We debunked.
Debunked.
We discussed the weather, dreams, emotions. She was soon able to tell me if she was happy or sad, tell me she'd had a bad dream, and ask for a particular toy or her playtime. I became obsessed. Oh, okay, that's great.
Oh, great.
Her little brain
That's insulting.
was able to express so much more than I'd ever suspected. I added more buttons. Soon she was able to tell me her mood, ask pertinent questions with the Y button, make decisions based on what I suggested. She also liked to look out of the window and tell me what she saw. It was so interesting. Whilst I might look out of the window and see my neighbor carrying groceries from his car, Gidget would watch the same scene and tell me about the bird she had spotted or stray leaf she had seen caught by the wind. I was able to see the world through her eyes. She'd been using her buttons to talk for over a year before things started to get disturbing. One day she stopped playing with her favorite toy, looked into a corner, and walked over to her board. Very deliberately, she had selected the button for dark. I laughed. It was daytime and the sunlight was shining into every corner. No dark, I told her. Light. It's daytime. No dark. That's great. I
Love
used the
that.
buttons to reinforce my message. No, period. Dark, period. Light, period. Day, period. Gidget listened, but turned her little head back to the corner. After a few minutes, she came back to her board. Dark, she said again. I'm afraid I shrugged. What? Shrugged off her words. Okay, that was not proper English.
Yeah.
And the message behind them. I may have even laughed. No dark, I said. Light. Gidget humored me. She was a very clever dog. Sometimes while we played, she would stop and examine a random wall, hover by her word board, ready to tell me what she saw, but my previous reaction must have discouraged her. Time and again, she would stamp on the button for dark, and I would look at where she looked and deny it. I added more buttons, and with those buttons came more unease. Dark, stranger, no. Cold. I'd stand where she looked to show her it was okay. She would whine and cry and hit the stranger button. It upset me a lot. After a while, Gidget stopped using her buttons. She regressed. She stopped asking outside and would whine at the door instead. She stopped asking food and would stand by her bowl and cry. I didn't know where I had gone wrong. I stood in the corner she hated more often, trying to understand why she hated it. It was cold there, colder than anywhere else in our home, but very welcoming. I found it soothing for some reason, but the more I stood there, the more she cried. It started to get annoying. It was just a stupid corner. I'm not sure what to do. And there's an update. Gidget has regressed even more. She has started peeing in the house, which is incredibly frustrating. At first, I brushed it off, then I took her to the vets. The vet said there was nothing physically wrong with her and said she seemed stressed. She's a dog, question mark. What has a dog got to be stressed about? I'm sick of cleaning up puddles of pee. I feel like I should punish her. Oh, okay. There's another update, but it's like really long.
Well, it's not that long.
Okay. Gidget won't come near me now. I hold my hand out to coax her. She turns away. Idiot animal.
Oh
Oh my
god.
god. I remember that I loved her once, but that was before I realized how useless she was.
Oh my
She won't
god.
even love me. The main reason I got a dog in the first place. I spend more time in my corner and watch the little fluffy beast cringe in her bed, the bed I bought her that she doesn't deserve. Oh my god. I'm watching her now. I've been staring at her for hours now, and she has done nothing except shake and cry. She used her buttons for the first time in ages earlier. Where, Mum? Mum, bye. Stupid creature. Can't she see I'm right here? Or is it too dark?
Wow. There's a lot to unpack in that one, I think.
Yeah. Like, my first kind of thought about this is I think this person needs to get out of the house more. Maybe touch some grass, talk to some
Yeah.
people, experience some things, and
Maybe
not stare at a corner.
maybe don't try and have philosophical conversations with your dog cuz it's a dog. Um yeah. I think that clearly the way that this if we are to believe that this is real, that this is
I don't believe
going,
it.
I don't really believe it either. But it's an
Is this
interesting
subreddit supposed to
story.
be like fake?
I don't know if it's meant to be fake or if it's meant to be real.
I feel like it's meant to be real. Oh my
Yeah.
god, be real. Why did it go off at like 11 a.m. today? Like I was literally just writing notes. Like
I
what is there to be real about?
writing notes. There's always time to be real about writing notes.
And they were like bad notes too. Like everyone has to see.
You could have just faced it away from your notes.
Yeah, but then everyone would see me taking it, and that's so embarrassing because I sit in the front. Anyway, sidetracked.
Anyways, back to the button dog. Um I think if we are to believe that this is, let's say we follow this story. I think it's meant to be like the woman is getting possessed by like some ghost in the corner or something, cuz clearly the dog doesn't like this corner and keeps saying that there's a stranger in it. And if she's like standing in the corner and now she's insulting the dog and the dog is like, "Where's my mom?" And then she's like, "I'm right here." I think it's meant to be I think it's meant to be believed that she is like becoming some kind of ghost demon thing.
Okay, maybe that's why she doesn't leave the house.
Maybe that's why.
I just want to know, like, does she
I
not
hate the squeaking of my chair.
does she not have like a job, like places to be? Why is she just because like she said, like she sat watching the dog for like I've been staring at her for hours now. Like
Yeah, and if she says that like clearly she doesn't live with anyone else in the house. So clearly you live alone, which means you probably work.
like like do you not have places to be? Like I can't stare at a corner for hours. Like I have classes to study for, assignments to
Yeah,
do, food to eat, people to see,
radio shows to go on.
like
Like,
like like crying. I don't know. Like I the stuff I do other than sit in the like watching the corner, calling
yeah.
my dog useless.
Yeah, and why are you calling your dog useless? Like, your dog didn't even do anything to you. You have no right to insult your dog.
I think that idiot animal is
That
like kind of
was
a parallel to budget apartment.
idiot animal and budget apartment. Yeah. That we're really racking them up on this show.
I wonder what next week's will be.
Yeah. I don't even want to guess.
Okay, is it time for the next
I
one?
think it's time for the next one.
We're back at our intermission.
Back at our intermission. The
Um,
Wi-Fi sucks in here. Give me 2 seconds.
I'm gonna talk about my day again because that's what I usually do.
Hmm.
So I had a 9:30, as usual on Monday, and I hated it because like I don't want to be awake at 9 a.m. I don't even want to be awake, like period. But like, why do I have to do that? Wait, oh my god, that was dark. Wait, I didn't mean it like that. Let me not talk about my day.
Let's divert the topic.
That's not what I meant, guys.
Let's talk about current events. What is currently eventing? um, okay, so I really like the title of this one, but it's super long. Let me just send it to you before I read it.
Is it hello from Beijing?
No, it's better.
Except.
It's my dad is a chair.
Oh, I wanted to read that one, but it was so long.
Yeah, I want to read this one too, but it's so long. Like, how is the dad a chair?
I feel like we might have to just like skip some paragraphs to get through it. Like
Yeah,
some of these don't seem important.
yeah. Some of these also seem a little much. Ooh, I
Let
just
this
saw
be
the
a
word rib cage. I
oh
don't think
no.
that sounds promising.
Let this be a reminder to use commas and the indent feature and to space out your paragraphs. No one needs to see a wall of text.
Yeah, just because in school the teachers tell you that they want 10 sentences in a paragraph doesn't mean you have to put 10 sentences on a paragraph when you write on Reddit. You're no longer in school. Please just make it easy to read.
Like if you're writing on Reddit, you probably didn't do very well in school, I'm assuming. So, like why are
Yeah,
we worrying about that?
if you spend at least like an hour writing up multiple paragraphs for a Reddit post, chances are you did not do well in school. So why are you trying now? This is not your time to redeem yourself. Sweaty 30-year-old Reddit men are not going to be impressed.
Yeah.
So do we want to read that my dad is a chair or do we find a new one?
It's so interesting. It's just very long.
Yeah.
We could do half and half. So like it's not like one of us reading the whole thing.
Okay.
Let me see.
How far up should I go?
Oh, this is so much. I'll pick up at mom's own changes. I think that's about half. Oh no, that's like more than half. Um, I'll pick up at that was the worst part.
That was the worst part.
Right next to the line that says "Don't cry, I am chair."
Um, it's the start of a paragraph, right?
Yes.
So wait, don't. That was the worst part. Just trying to look for one that starts with a T. Yep, I found it.
Yeah, I'll start there.
Okay, wonderful. So, uh, I guess this will be the last one we do
Probably.
because it's 3:42. So, and this one's
Yeah.
long. So,
Your suffering of having to hear us is almost over.
yeah, you guys will almost be freed from the shackles of this radio show.
We say you guys, but there's probably like 2 people listening. How
Yeah,
many viewers do we have?
still one.
It has to be like a staff member,
It
like making
has to
sure
be.
we're like,
Yeah.
because there's no way.
It has to be a staff member making sure that this is PG family friendly.
Love that staff member though.
So that shout out to you, whoever you are. We love you, and please make one of our faces your profile picture on Twitter.
Yes,
Yeah, we want stands.
I agree. I do want stands.
Yeah, we want to see you defending us through everything and attacking other people because of how much you appreciate our show.
Exactly.
You need to be a ride or die. So, on to the final story of today. My dad is a chair. The title doesn't lie. My dad is a chair. To be specific, he's a fully upholstered bright orange angel accent living room chair, the kind with wooden legs you'd find in any three-piece suit from the 70s. He's pretty comfortable, truth be told. A little lumpy in places, but his padding is soft. Warm, too. He's always warm. There's also something There's also the telltale ba-thump, ba-thump, ba-thump coming from his back cushion, a steady rhythm at my lumbar to remind me I'm sitting in no ordinary chair. He wasn't always a chair. Until last year, he was Kevin, the accountant. He was 51, slightly overweight, and generally seemed to enjoy his life as a human. He was married to Mom. He still is, but, well, as you can imagine, it's a little complicated now. It was funny at first. He came home from work one day and just sat in the corner of the living room. When we'd ask him why he was sitting on the floor and not the $4,000 cream leather couch, he'd just smile and say, "It feels right here." It stopped being funny the morning he didn't go to work. Turns out he hadn't slept the night before. He'd been watching a movie with Mom, but he hadn't gone with her to bed. She left him sitting in his spot, unsuspicious of the "I'm not tired, I'll be up a little later" lie. She and I both begged him to get up, but he refused to move. Phoned in sick at work, the whole deal. Just spent the day sitting on the floor in his corner. We kept asking him what was wrong, why he wouldn't get up, except to use the bathroom, and he just kept saying, "No, no, this feels right." My mom phoned the doctor around the third day of this. He stopped eating or drinking, you see. Stopped getting up to use the bathroom, too. Surprisingly, though, there weren't as many accidents as you'd think. Once he'd allowed the last of the food and drink to leave him, it seemed to stop coming. We also didn't near his belly growl. We also didn't hear his belly growl despite going a day and a half without food. The doctor couldn't make sense of it. The first guess was that it was psychosomatic, but that wouldn't explain the absence of digestive activity exposed by the stethoscope. They said they'd be back to take some blood samples in a few days after they uh, liaised with some colleagues. Unfortunately, as I said, this was last year, 2020. We never heard back from the doctor thanks to the virus that shall not be named. I guess guy with gut troubles who refuses to move is low on priorities list during a global pandemic. Somehow, Mom managed to wrangle long-term sick leave with Dad's company. Decades of loyal employeeism, combined with Mom's attendance of every company barbecue and softball game, helped Mr. Bannerfrag buy the unexplained stomach concern requiring hospitalization excuse. I'll never forget that phone call. At the time, Dad losing his job was the worst case scenario for both of us. He'd always been the breadwinner. Neither of us could support ourselves without him. We'd lose the house in under a year. Dad didn't seem too perturbed by Mom's frantic pacing or the lies she. Oh, I lost my place. Or the lies she wormed through the phone to Mr. Brannerfrag. He just stared at the wall serenely, hovering his butt half a foot from the carpet, balancing with his legs bent and his hands flat on the ground behind him. That night, I fell asleep listening to Mom yelling at Dad. He never yelled back. We started noticing the physical changes a few days later. That was when we realized this wasn't psychosomatic. Unfortunately, our best insurance deal on the market doctor wasn't picking up the phone. We'd get passive aggressive emails informing us they were waiting to hear back from colleagues, but that wasn't it. This was not good, especially not when the joints in Dad's arms and legs had fused. The not goodness of the doctor's silence increased a thousandfold when we sent photos of Dad's hands and feet flaking off like discarded spider husks the following week. Did the response change? No. We got a very snippy email about the shortages on ICU words and the critical international situation. My mom's shouting match with the chief of medicine, the one she demanded her way up the phone chain to speak to, didn't change things. We were on our own. Mom spent all her time in the living room with Dad. I'd help her wash him and try and make him eat, talk to him when she'd tire out and fall asleep on the rug. Every day of this routine brought with it new changes in Dad's body. It all started with his limbs, as you can probably guess. When his hands and feet fell off, there was no blood. They flaked apart, crusty and dry and brittle throughout. Even the bones of his toes and fingers had the density and consistency of dead skin. The wrists and ankles they left behind were smooth and hard. It was difficult to tell whether we were looking at flesh or exposed bone. The dark shining surface seemed to blend into his normal arm at the base of the stumps. This discoloration would rise further up his limbs daily, and before long I awoke to see Dad's head and torso fused to the wooden chair legs supporting my weight while I write this. Well, I use the term Dad's head and torso in the loosest possible sense. By this time, his limbs were completely replaced by the rest of him had undergone a slow, harrowing transformation of its own. His shoulders and the arms attached to them descended lower and lower. They found their final resting place at Dad's pelvis, sat squarely behind his rigid legs. The chest area they'd left behind had its own problems. Day by day, Dad's neck retracted further inwards. It didn't stop when his jaw met his collarbone either. It pulled Dad's head deep into his rib cage. His face, flattening at the skull, supporting it, sank, forcing his eyes to point in opposite directions. Eventually, they slid down to where. Do you see that?
Yeah.
This is interesting. And I don't mean that in an I'm intrigued way. Um, we're just gonna skip the rest of this part.
Yeah, let's just summarize it by saying there was a lot of bodily
There was a
changes.
lot of bodily changes. It's kind of gross
We're not
to
gonna go
read,
over
and
all
we're
of
not
them.
gonna go over them. So you've been saved. I hope your lunch is still good. Um, so he lost the ability to speak, and then the last words he ever said to me were, "Don't cry. I am chair. Always was chair. Happy as chair."
Oh,
James,
oh, great.
please take the rest away. I don't think I want to read that anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad I have to read this now. That was the worst part, I think, knowing that
I would
whatever,
keep it PG.
yeah, whatever was happening to Dad, he wasn't resisting it. That when he got that initial urge to sit in the corner and not get up, he didn't fight it. That he was happy this way. The implication being that when he was human, when he was a husband and father, he wasn't. Oh, an accountant. Sadly, I still don't know how or why Dad became a chair. I didn't post any photos. You see, Mom wouldn't let me, didn't want the embarrassment. Wanted to keep Dad's dignity intact. Thing is, I agreed with her and kind of still do. I'm glad I didn't go to the socials with pics of Dad at various stages of his journey. The temptation was there to see if anyone could help. Nobody could have, though, could they? Dad would have just become another internet circus freak. I've done enough research and digging over the months to know that whatever happened to Dad, he's the only one. Well, almost only. I see the start of the next paragraph and I don't like it. Mom's own changes started around the
Oh
time Dad's
no.
skin was rethreading into orange fabric
Oh
and his eyes had hardened into plastic buttons.
my
Her change was a little different. It started in her torso, stretching her day by day while she remained in crab pose. What is crab pose?
God. I guess like this. For our one viewer on YouTube, you can see what I was doing. For everyone else, you'll have to envision.
I must say, she makes a great couch. Oh my god. Her transformation may have been a little more distressing, but the end result is better. Parentheses, sorry, Dad, it is what it is. I think the worst part with Mom was the de- despondency. That's not a word. Um,
Dis- despondency?
that's not a word, but we're gonna continue. Dad was so serene as he changed. Mom, though, Mom wouldn't stop weeping, quiet sobs, tears that fell for a few days, even after her own eyes had become flat plastic. Me. She wasn't crying because of the change, though, I think. I think it was because she wouldn't get to see how beautiful I'll look when I go through my own metamorphosis.
Um,
Oh my, oh no. Thing is, I get it now. Dad was right. He was chair.
I just read the last
I know. Mom was couch. I am coffee table. Oh my.
line.
I am coffee table. I'm coffee table.
I think this one beat budget apartments. Um,
Oh no. Um, I always was. I was scared at first when I realized the truth hit me like a piano dropped from the Empire State Building. I was scrubbing the last of Mom's remaining human skin when it struck through every bone in my wrong body, just as it must have done both Dad and Mom. I can't keep reading this. It's just like taking so much out of me. I spent the and I can't read that.
Wait,
Um
where are you? I just did the
I'm
thing.
skipping a little bit because I can't read that. Unlike blissfully accepting Dad and weeping resigning Mom, I fought it for a few days. I'm not like them. I'm only 17. I have had dreams, ambitions, goals. I wanted to go to college, settle down, marry some lucky guy, be a mom. I wasn't ready to give up my human form.
James, you gotta make this quick.
I know. I might. This isn't important. We're going to skip to the bottom.
Skim through it, please.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw rib cage.
You
Um,
found the ribcage.
yeah.
Fine.
Okay, I think I found a nice place to skip to.
Mhm.
Um, there's a tugging on the back of my knees where they will bend in on themselves, and all 20 of my fingers and toes grow number with each hour that passes. Do I have any regrets? Thousands. There's so much I'll never get to do, to see, to go, to be. I can't hide from the truth, though, not anymore. I am coffee table.
And that's the end of the
I
post.
have no
I
comments.
have no comments either. That was a lot to take in, and I'm gonna need like another week to process what we just read
So I
here.
think we've confirmed that this subreddit is like fake
I think it
stories.
is made up stories.
Because I had a feeling, but this kind of,
This definitely sealed the deal that these
yeah.
stories are not real.
Sorry to burst anyone's
Sorry to
bubble,
burst anyone's bubble, but you should have figured it out by the first one.
but you are not coffee table
You are not a coffee table.
or a chair
Um,
or a couch or the Empire State Building.
or the Empire State Building. Um, Something just about the line of Dad was chair, Mom is couch, and I am coffee.
It's giving very much Wattpad.
Yeah, it's giving very much blue orbs. Yeah. I think with that note it is our cue to sign off. Um this has been Olivia and the occasional co-host James.
Indeed.
Annoying people for about an hour.
I love
Uh,
annoying people.
yeah, today we read fake horror stories that were certainly interesting.
They weren't even horror.
They were just off. Next time we will plan more and
yeah.
actually find something.
We won't be a mess next week.
We won't be a mess next week. It'll be better.
To summarize this episode, idiot animal and coffee table
Idiot animal, cheating husband, coffee table.
and budget apartment.
And budget apartment. Budget apartment always has to come back for
Yeah.
every episode.
It's too iconic.
That should be the name of our show.
You're right.
Budget apartment.
We have our name now.
We have our name. Next week it's gonna be budget apartment. That's the name of our show. We've decided now.
Okay, so budget apartment is now signing off.
Yeah. From your two hosts. I guess that's it. I guess it's time to end the YouTube stream to our one viewer.
Yay.
Bye. All right.